everyone, MJ here. I'm outside here, and let me do this. Oh, there we go. Like the famous, the beautiful, the fantastic cargo store, where I am drinking some Leo beer and taking a few peanuts here. I have the elastic band that I had holding the bag together was gone. Now, been on a fast since it was a week ago yesterday, and I had one meal last night with my family. I'm going to be doing this over a period of about 6 weeks, and so one meal every week or one meal every other week isn't going to make any difference. And occasionally I take some high density nutrition foods, things like nuts, if I feel a little urge to eat something, but hey, I find that it doesn't affect me too much. And I did something today. I had my exercise bike upstairs. Dave, how you doing? Good evening to you, fist bump. I had my exercise bike upstairs, and it was very cramped. And so I spent most of today preparing an area for it in my bedroom, and I took it apart by myself. Could be. I could get Win-Win's Takeout, bring it here. Kind of a colorful thing back here. Some of these posters are really old. Look at that. In 2019, they got a rap concert. And, oh, here are the artists. One is called Shanty Dope, and the other is called Glock 9, Gloc dash numeral 9. Who do these guys think they are? Or what are they trying to aspire to? I used to have this kind of lecture I would give people who came in my studio. And actually at one time, I used to give paid lectures on the music business. It very well could be. The thing is, at nighttime, it's dark, but I did buy a ring light. So I could just bring the ring light with me, and the ring light and the pink mic. Boy, oh boy. But I used to tell people, it's okay to copy others, copy success. And I said, you can either copy, Journey or Bryan Adams, or you can copy Johnny Turd in the Commode, so up to you. Go away. The dog coming up to me. Sniff it. Oh, I can't stand that. Oh. Alright, one of those aunties is over here. Yep. I can't get rid of the comment, but I got rid of them. I banned them. What's the point of this? Me having viewers on Twitch, it's like having viewers at, at a bus station. Who cares? Come on. Huh? Fish head. See, I got these peanuts on the table, and he smells them, and he's coming up and sniffing around. It's a big problem. Usually people don't train their dogs well, or they don't discipline them. Hey, fine dining. How you guys doing? Speaking of which, this is my fine dining for this evening. It's some Leo beer from Thailand. And a bag of, this says oil fried, like, for real, peanuts. And this word means that they're shelled. So this is Yota Huasen Leng, which is kind of funny. But, and it has salt in it and no sugar. Yeah, well, 0.4 grams per 100 kilograms. So it's 0.4%. So, yeah, man, it is a classic combo. But I wish this dog would get the heck out of here. He belongs to this lady over here, and he's coming under the table. And I don't trust these dogs here because I've been harassed by some of them, and I don't like it when I went to a restaurant down the street and had a steak, and the lady's dog just stood there in the doorway going, "I'm not giving you my food," like that. And it's like, so finally, I said, "Go away," in Chinese. And the boss lady heard me, and she went and grabbed him. But anyway, I will say though, the stray dog situation has been significantly improved in the last couple of years. But, so how you guys doing? I admit I don't get a chance to watch much of your content, but it's I think what you guys do is so cool. And anybody listening to the sound of my voice, yeah, I think I'm on the air in Boston. Anybody listening to the sound of my voice, follow them, because they are funny. Yeah, I got to. Good thing he's skittish. I should ask the lady. Okay, show of hands. Somebody ask the lady if she feeds this dog. See what happens. I'll call her Auntie. He's right behind me. He's right behind me, so. He doesn't want peanuts. He won't eat them. Maybe he will, I don't know. He会饿吗？你没有给他吃吗？就是他看地下就是问看什么东西可以吃啊。So I said, why is he so hungry? And I said, did you give him something to eat? And she was just basically saying that's how he is. So I said, because he's looking all over the ground and smelling it to look for something to eat. Now is he smelling his motor scooters? I guess he's just curious though. Yeah. I think he's a good boy. He's not dangerous. He's just annoying. See, it's just like me. I'm not dangerous at all, but I am annoying. There's some Thai guys here when I first showed up, and I got to impress them with my Thai language skills, which kind of sucked, but that was fun. There's asking, how come you know Thai? I've been in Thailand like Dave too. Dave, huh? No, he's not. But the thing is, right, is you don't know. You don't know until something bad happens, right? Just like you don't know a criminal until they go, hey, how you doing? All right. There's somebody around giving her money. It's like, okay. But no, he's okay. And he's skittish, which many dogs are. He may actually, oh gosh. Another lady showed up and she bent over to pick up some cardboard. He's smelling her butt. I'm like, oh gosh. Yeah, so the thing is he may actually be a rescue or a shelter dog. So for that's really good. And people here they do adopt dogs and they do rescue dogs. But also, I live in an industrial park, and this is a classic place for people to dump dogs. And I'll get back to that other thing in a second. I remember about maybe, hey Jay boy, fist bump to you too. And hey, Fine Dining, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't fist bump you guys. Sorry. That's not a punch. That's friendly. Must have been about 12 or 13 years ago on that corner over there. A car pulled up one day, and I just happened to be outside, and I saw it, and they threw these two dogs out and drove off real quick. The door's going down behind me, and they threw the dogs out. And they didn't know where to go. So they stayed on that corner for years as homeless dogs. It was sad. I saw them all over the industrial park as they would get more, old, and they would travel a little bit further and then come back, But then one day, they disappeared. That was it. But, it's about the Thai guys, right? I've been to Thailand 20, 25 times, something like that, and so has Dave. So when you're traveling, you always pick up stuff, especially if you're in a place for a long time. And each time I would go to Thailand, I think the shortest trip I've ever made to Thailand was 2 weeks. I've stayed there, they are. Well, what you can do is you can reduce the wild population so they stop making them. But I used to go there. I remember a couple of times I went to Thailand for 4 weeks. I stayed, my maximum 30 days, and then I went to Laos. Stayed there for a week or two, and then came back and stayed another month in Thailand, and then went back to Taiwan. So I spent considerable time there. We had a couple of places. Because this is the industrial park. We had a couple places not too far down the road where there's some piled up junk. What they did. Yeah, that's all you can do. Taiwan has made a lot of progress because 20 years ago they would just drown them. They'd throw them in a cage and immerse them in water for 10 minutes. It's a rough way to go. It's a way, you can't afford to put them to sleep, but, so it's down here, not too far away. I used to take pictures of all this stuff, right? Yeah, I know. And, it was like, a pile of junk, and I had everything. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Why not? He just took my empty can. These are recycling. We call them recycling antes. Here, let me show you. One has a scooter, and one has a three-wheel bicycle. The recycling aunties. What it is the boss lady here piles up all the cardboard, the cartons that, that all the bulk stuff comes in, and just pops it down here, right? So, but they had all this junk piled up. But when you pile stuff up, different sizes, it always makes it's funny, it always makes triangular shape cubby holes. And a lot of the stray dogs in the neighborhood moved in there. And I went by there one day, just driving my car, and I saw I don't know, 20 puppies or something. Thank you. Taiwan has one of the highest participation rates. It's over 96%. It's something like 98%, because we have a recycle truck that comes by behind the trash truck daily and picks up recycling. That's great. So when I drink stuff like this, I don't throw it away. I just leave it on the table because I know that one of these aunties is going to take it. You guys take care. It's fun. Thanks so much. When I get back home, I got to check out their latest post. Those two are a trip. If you guys haven't seen them, I mean, they could make a cup of Swiss Mist with marshmallows. Seem like it belongs in a Michelin star restaurant. But all right. So I know, Dave, they largely due to foreigners living here and complaining to the government, they stopped that practice quite a while ago, like maybe 16 or 17 years ago. That was a long time ago. And over where I hang out in Jubei, very close to some of those places, like where I did on my channel, I've got a video called Jubei Walkabout. Oh, see, the lights just went out. And there is a huge government-sponsored animal shelter, in that general area. So, yeah. I don't have a yard. I don't really have a place. Phoenix would like a dog, but it's just not practical for us right now. Dog ownership in Asia is considerably different than dog ownership in Europe or North America, because it used to be, we're going back now, dog owners were considered rich because they could afford to feed their family and a dog. They'd have money to buy food for the dog. Others have dogs simply because they want the dog to bark when people come by, as an alarm. Like my neighbors. My neighbors all have dogs. And they're those tiny, ridiculous, yapping things that won't shut up. And, I had dogs in America too, but I trained them. Every night that the trash truck comes, they go nuts. And I'm like, why? This is normal. So what happens is, this is exactly the opposite of what you want. See, my dog would sit on the floor, and his ears were going like this, listening all around. And it's true that a dog, yeah, they are. Well, at least they used to be, but my sister and her husband have two. That was a while ago. I don't know what's happened since then. But a dog can sit anywhere in a house and hear and know what's going on. Everywhere in that house, right? Now my dog would only bark if something was wrong. So I don't know. But this is interesting you bring this up, because there have been a couple of cases recently of maulings and some lawsuits and court cases. And there's a new law that came out. I read about this maybe 2 months ago. And as I recall, my memory is pretty good. There were 4 species, or four breeds, that you're not allowed to walk them without a muzzle. And I remember the Pit Bull Terrier is one of them, and the Doggo Argentina is one of the others. I don't remember the other one. But I always wanted to get a Doggo Argentina. But what it is, people don't train them. So my next door neighbor has a big dog in the back and 3 dogs in the front. And they bark all day long and all night long sometimes. And the one in the back, you know, because there's a sidewalk back there. I showed you guys the sidewalk back there behind my house. And, you know, a mother will push like a baby stroller, and the dog goes nuts. There's no need for that. There's no reason for that. So what happens is they end up ignoring it, which is the opposite of what you've got the dog for in the first place. So it's literally the boy who cried wolf with a dog, and so it doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I went to my neighbor's home. It's a nice home. But he doesn't have a safe, you know, full of diamonds. And he doesn't have, you know, gold bullion. I got a studio in my house. There's nothing there that warrants, I mean, if you want an alarm, get an alarm system. When I'm away from home, if a mosquito flies in front of one of my motion detectors, I instantly know it, and I can look at it on a camera. That's what you gotta have. This other stuff is just... So, and they're... The other thing, too, it's not just the training. It's that I've seen that most dog owners here don't treat their animal like a, you know, part of the family, right? Like, you know, Phoenix has her stuffed animals, and they're in bed with her, and they all have names, you know. They're in her bedroom, and she goes to sleep and cuddles with them and stuff, and that's what kids do. And they all have names, and they're like, you know, little sisters and brothers. They're part of the family. And if we had a dog in the house, that's exactly how it would be. But that dog that's in the back, he's locked up in the back room. He doesn't get any attention at all. Only when he gets taken out. And he takes him out to pee and stuff. But I never see him. And sometimes I have to call my neighbor who's not home. I tell him, your dogs are going nuts. What's going on? And he doesn't know, he's apologetic, but he comes home and nothing's wrong. They're bored. They have too many and not enough stimulation. Absolutely it does. Absolutely. And like I said, my dog, I had several of them. I had a dog that I trained on hand signals. I think I've talked about this before. I didn't have to say anything. I would go, he knew what I meant. Or Those all had specific meanings, and he knew exactly what I meant. And I would test him too, but in training dog, you got to start out with small intervals, like 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minutes. I went to a building one time, and this dog's name was Petey. And I went, Petey? Okay, I went, that means sit, and that means stay. When I came out an hour later, he was in the exact same spot. I don't know if he moved and heard me coming, but he was sitting there with his tongue hanging out, happy as a clam. Not bothering anybody, not, didn't go with anybody. Probably didn't bark at anybody. But man, if I had a dog like that in Taiwan, they would think I was a sorcerer. Because with all the bad dog behavior in my neighborhood, right, I told my wife one day, I said, we should just get a dog so I can train him and walk down the street and show these idiots how it's supposed to be done. And I go, amazing. That dog was truly amazing. I had another dog named Duke. And Duke was not afraid of anything, but he didn't bark unless something was wrong. And I lived in the warehouse district of Boston. It was a dangerous place. People trying to break into my studio. And he would just sit there. But then suddenly his head would snap, and I'd be, uh-oh. Then I would hear, and I'm like, okay, what's going on, boy? Let's go. And sure enough, there's somebody outside hanging out that wasn't supposed to be there. But like, in the back of my house, I have a restroom, and the restroom has a window, and the window's not soundproof. But I got like barking coming from my neighbor's house and the one down in through the bathroom. So when I rebuild my studio, I think I'm going to put a window plug in that downstairs bathroom window. Because I got to tell you, I've been watching TV with Bluetooth earbuds and had to pause the movie and call my neighbor and go, I can't even, hear the movie. But he's good. I just want you guys to know he's a good neighbor. He's a great neighbor. No problems. It's just a difference in management. He's a good guy. And he puts up with my stuff too. One of the things I'm doing with my new studio build out is to reduce it's almost minuscule effects, of that he can hear, from my studio next door. So I had to keep an eye on the time. I gotta get back home. Yeah, we're at the end of the second beer, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it tonight. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I haven't been feeling too good. Not physically, just mentally. I've been under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure. Yeah, and I try to be a good neighbor to him, and not cause stress and pressure and stuff. And he does like to. There's a piece of government-owned land behind both, our houses, and he tries to keep that clean. And so sometimes I'll meet him outside because some bad people will dump junk and trash there, right? so we get a chance to both complain about the same thing. And it makes people closer, you know, it does. But there's a store on the other side of the highway. Maybe someday I'll introduce it to you guys. I think it's time for me to go. See, I'm on a little bit earlier than I normally am on. And one of the most important things for me in this life is to put my daughter to bed and pray with her before she goes to sleep. And if you think that's corny, that's fine. That's important to me. And so I'm going to go do that. You guys take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad. Hopefully you enjoyed this no title stream. I did not. And I explained that, J-Boy, in the late night group that I wanted to do some stuff, but the weather hasn't been so hot. Good night, Dave. Thank you. Hey, Matthew. You know, sorry I didn't see you come in, bro. Sorry. Guys, take care. Thank you so much.